into it. So
Yeah.
I don't like to wait around. Let's, why don't you tell us about your last 30 days of drinking and using, and then bring us to your last day drinking and using.
I mean, it's all such like, it's a long time ago. My last 30 days, I remember just being volatile. And if I wasn't getting high, or if I wasn't thinking about getting high, I was an asshole. I would rip your head off. Not even questions, no questions asked. And I remember just shit starting to spiral and go out of control. And I was just constantly trying to use, and trying to get high. And I just couldn't like cope. And I was using drugs as a way to cope, to like try to bring me down to reality. And the issue was I was so immune to being high that I wasn't getting high anymore. So I was just like, I peaked. And then once you hit that peak, you're trying to chase that, AKA first high. And I remember basically the last 30 days being just, I lost my job. I was fighting with my girlfriend at the time in Waterloo nonstop. And the fights were escalating to the point where it was going to get like physical, and I was going to end up in a shitty holding cell in the middle of winter. And I remember the last fight that we had was on Christmas Day, and I tried to get high and I couldn't. I was just trying to get high and consuming. And I remember either I blacked out or I just greened out, and the next thing I know, I'm back in Toronto living with my mom. And that's when I was still using at the time, and I was still trying to get high. I remember driving to that's all it was me just trying to get high all the time, trying to chase that first high, and it wasn't even enjoyable anymore. So it was just shit. It was like 30 days of pure hell, and all I wanted to do was try to get high, and I wasn't getting high. I wasn't able to. And then what
was your drug of choice?
Weed, marijuana.
This is good. I love talking about this one.
Because the world, honestly, and I'm gonna say this, is if weed was legal then, I don't think I'd be sitting in this fucking room right now, because it's so readily available. It's in the corners, at the corner, it's across here. There's fucking weed everywhere now. And it back then, before these stores were around, it was like, you had to meet up with your dealer and then like make sure you had the money. And like now it's so readily available, and the dealers were only taking cash at the time. You don't go to a dealer's house and tap your fucking debit card, right? So it was like, you got to make sure you had the cash. And it's like, yeah. And not to derail here, but I don't think people realize that you can get addicted to marijuana. You can, and you can hit that peak where it's like you're not fucking high anymore. Your worlds have collided. You are living in a high sober world, if that makes sense, where it's like it's just all one. You don't know if you're high and you don't know if you're sober. And it was just, weed was my drug of choice.
Good. I'm happy we can talk about this today, because I think, to your point, people think it's harmless. It's not addictive. It's not going to bring me down. I was talking to a guy the other day, getting him into treatment, and his drug of choice was weed. He had problems with the law. He was forced to go into treatment through the courts, and his life was, he was homeless for a long time. A lot of people, you'll see nowadays too, that the drinking statistics are down. Mm-hmm. People are drinking less overall. So and this is in the US and in Canada, but the people that are drinking more, but overall people are drinking less. Yep. What do you think they're doing instead? They're right? Like, marijuana. There's a lot of kids that are only, and I use that in quotations, smoking weed. And now we're starting to see all these other things that are coming out, the problems as a result. So tell me about your last day using, and what sort of pushed you into recovery and sobriety.
My last day, I remember it was a horrendous ice storm, and I know I had weed in my apartment back in Waterloo. I'd already lived back in Toronto, and I was like, fuck it, I'm driving. And I made up some stupid excuse to my mom. It's like, oh, I need my beard trimmer. And she looked at me like, son, are you out your fucking mind? Like, look at it out there. There's 3 inches of ice on the ground. I'm like, no, I'm going. So
this is important.
Right? So I hop in my truck, and I'm like slipping and sliding, driving down the 401. I'm like, there's no traction on my truck. I finally get there, and I go there, and there's no fucking weed. I guess I was blurry, and I remember being in my apartment, and I'm like picking on the carpet, trying to find fucking the last little granules of fucking weed to get high. And I thought I got enough. The next thing I know, I'm smoking fucking like lint. Like, what the fuck happened to me? And I guess I hit too hard with whatever was in it. And I remember I'm like, okay, I gotta go to the washroom. And I just blacked out, and I passed out half into the fucking toilet. I smashed my ribs. I didn't think I cracked anything, but I'm just passed out in this toilet bowl. And I'm like, if I would have landed 30 centimeters farther, I would probably not be here right now, because nobody had access to my apartment. So then I drive back, and my mom's like, oh, so where's your beard trimmer? I'm like, oh yeah, it was broken. I threw it out. So she knew that the gig was up. And then how it was that it came to realize that I called my uncle, who has numerous years of sobriety, and the big book should be named after him, of how much fucking knowledge it's mind blowing. He's like Yoda when you talk to him about the big book. And I said to him, so how did you know that you had a problem doing, like you were addicted to drugs? And he said that when you're not using, when you're not consuming, when you're not thinking about it, who are you as a person? Are you an asshole? And I said, I'm a fucking piece of shit. He goes, yeah, there's your fucking answer. There's no sugar cookie with him. It's like, this is it. You are addicted to marijuana. And he goes, you got to take all your shit and flush it. And I just remember trying to find the shit in the house, and it was like this fucking, trying to find a mouse trying to find cheese in the maze. So I'm looking in the basement. I'm like, oh fuck, I found half a nug. I'm like trying to fucking pack it up and get ready to smoke. And next thing I know, I'm smoking fucking like cat hair and fucking just whatever I could get my fucking hands on. It was like so bad. And then I ended up flushing it. And then that was it. It took probably a week to detox from weed, and I put my parents through fucking hell. Like just absolute shit on a stick, deep fried in the oven, like just garbage. I remember my mom was terrified. She was like, no, I'm mortgaging the house. You're going to rehab. I'm like, fuck rehab. No, I'm going to fucking kill myself in this house. Like, this is fucking it. I remember hopping in my truck, just driving 80 in a 40, just fucking, I don't even know what I was doing. And then after that, like, life started to, like, you're still on that pink cloud. Like, stuff started to get a little more enjoyable. But I just, the fucking garbage I put my parents through, I can't thank them enough for like sticking by me. I know I'm like all over the place with this, but like, it's just, if it wasn't for them, like, I don't fucking know. I probably would be in jail. I probably would have went and like broke into somebody's house to steal, like, I had the money. The money wasn't the issue. It was just like, I assumed everybody had weed. And when I moved back to Toronto, I was like reaching out to old dealers, and it was a fucking nightmare. I'm like, this is a sign from the higher power, God, whoever. Like, if you can't get it this easily, it's not for you anymore. And again, I got tired of rebuilding my life. It was this vicious cycle of every 2 years, my life would crumble, and then I rebuild it. And I'm like, fuck, this is good. And drugs were always there. And then I rebuild my life would crumble, and then I'd rebuild it. And then drugs were always there. And it's like, what the fuck is the common denominator here? And it's like, drugs are always there. What happens if you remove drugs? I'm like, there's no fucking way. No. Drugs, me and drugs are like two peas in a pod. Man, I'm all over the place.
No, you're good. You're good.
And it was like, you got to fucking try this. You got to tighten your belt up. You got to man the fuck up for once in your life and try to live a life without drugs and see what the fuck happens. If it doesn't happen within 2 weeks where you think, hey, this is not bad, then go back. Go back, right? Live that fucking life if you want. And I remember 2 weeks I applied for a job, and it was like my dream job. As we were saying earlier, I was like, fuck, this is it. Like, this is my dream job. And I'm sober where I haven't used in 2 or 3 weeks, but I was piss testing myself, and there's still absurd amounts of THC in my system. So it's like, and then I'm started beating myself up. I'm like, am I sober? Am I not? And it's like, I'm still pissing dirty. But then I got this fucking job. I'm like, this is a sign. Do not do drugs any fucking more. You have gotten God or the higher power or whoever has come and given you this golden ticket. And I remember I'm still detoxing at the time, even though it's like a week and a half, 2 weeks now. And it's like minus 35 down at the stadium. And I'm sweating like I have just run a half marathon. And I'm just jonesing. I'm smoking cigarette after cigarette after cigarette. I'm just like nonstop. And I'm like, this is fucked up. Is this real right now? Like, somebody kick me out. This can't be real life right now. And then I'm battling myself. Like, no, you got to see this through. You got to see this through. You're in the trenches. You got to fight through this. Like, this. So I ended up getting the job, and, I bought into the system. I went to a meeting, even prior to getting the job. My first meeting was out in Barrie to Freedom Friday. Hi, everybody, if you listen. And I met some cool people. I met some really fucking cool people, and they were just, good people. Obviously, my uncle was there. Hi, Uncle Phil. And it was an eye-opener. I was like, fuck, I'm not the only piece of shit in this world that likes drugs. Like, it's like, fuck. And you see some of these people, and some of these people are well put together, and I'm not trying to bash anyone in the rooms here, but like, then you get the people that are in the trenches still, and they're fighting the fucking war. The war that anybody outside this room doesn't get. Like, this war where it's not even, now with how much sobriety time, and I'm not trying to be arrogant, but how much sobriety time is, I feel like the war on drugs with me has gone away. It's the war on self now. It's like, I still have these, like, I'm a piece of shit. I'm incompetent. Can't do this. Can't do that. I'm not good at this. What the fuck is wrong with me? You just sit there and you beat yourself up. And that's the war that will continue for the rest of my days, that nobody will ever understand. I mean, people have issues with themselves. I get that. But it's like, it's not amplified as it is when you're an addict. It's like, it's constant. You could walk in, you could be a perfect person, and you will find the flaw in your body. I'm all over the place.
No, dude, you said a lot of good things there. I think, I like what your uncle said about when you're not high, who are you? Like, how are you living? Are you okay in your own skin? Essentially is what he was saying. And I've never heard it said quite like that, but it's true. It's like, when I'm not high, what kind of person am I? Are people enjoying my company? Am I bringing joy to situations, or are people walking on eggshells around me? Are they scared of what I'm going to do next? Or, and am I just in my head all day? Right. What I want to know, what did weed do for you? Like, what was the solution that it provided for you?
So it started off like, when I was growing up, I was like bullied in school, class clown. I fit all those like generic stereotypes that were out there. And it's like, I was very anti-drug. And, I remember my final year of high school, people thought I was an undercover cop. How straight and fucking narrow I was. I was like, they were terrified to even mention weed around me. I was just like, guys, I'm not a fucking undercover cop. I'm almost 20 years old. I'm ready to graduate fucking high school and move on with my life. I mean, fuck, I was buying alcohol for the kids, but maybe edit that out. But it was like, then all of a sudden I got introduced to a social circle, and it was like, oh yeah, try this. And I had a little toke, and I was like, fuck, this is great. Like, I'm fucking, I felt like I could be social. I could be comfortable outside of my own skin. I could be, people were like, everybody likes me, and I'm not like doing something stupid in class. I'm not, mooning the teacher, or, throwing fart bombs in a classroom. Like, it opened up the social circle. And then it was like, weed was there, and everything was good, going for barbecues, smoking some weed, going to clubs, smoke some weed, rave, do some weed, all that stuff. And it was social. I was like, fuck, I have friends. But unbeknownst to me, that it was a friendship built on drugs. It was, And then it got to that point where it's like, I just wanted to be high all the time. And it wasn't like social anymore. It was just like, I want to go in my mom's basement and fucking smoke up. I want to sit in the backyard by myself and smoke up, play some video games, smoke up by myself. There wasn't, the social aspect was gone. And again, if I wasn't getting high, I was a fucking asshole. You think I would have clicked in then, but it was just like, if I'm not doing drugs, I'm an asshole. And again, like it made me something I never got to experience as a child. It's to be social, have some friends. I had nothing growing up in elementary school and high school, nothing. Friday nights, I was at home playing video games. Now that sounds like a perfect night in for me. Yeah. But, right? Like, it's like, oh, I don't have to go out. Fuck. All right. Sit in my boxers and play some video games. But, like, even now, like, I still battle myself. Like, I live in isolation. I live with my girlfriend, wife. I don't even know what the technical term is at this point. But I just like to be in my basement by myself in the house. Like, it's fucked up. And I can't get out to like go and spend some time with her. It fucking sucks. It's like we have this beautiful house that we bought, and all I want to do is sit in the fucking basement and play video games, and it's fucked because it's such a comfort zone, because it's like it isolates me from the world. But then that isolation, now it starts to affect her, because it's like, hey, you don't fucking love me anymore. You don't want to spend time with me. But it's like, this is my fucking happy place, and it's like this battle. This is this battle going on. So
I appreciate you bringing that up, because I've been struggling with that lately too, is the isolation piece.
Yeah.
What do you think, and this is like, I think about this a lot. From my perspective, it feels as though it's like going to the gym or doing anything. When you do it more, it's easier to do.
Absolutely.
Right. Because I'm in the same place as you. I would rather on most days, most nights, stay in and watch Netflix or watch a movie or hang out with my wife at home than go out to a restaurant.
Yep.
And it's a battle. I agree with you 100%. So what do you think isolation is like? Why is it so tough to get out of, I guess?
I think there's that aspect where it's like, if you're not aspect, but like it's with withdraw. It's like, if I'm not around anybody, there's less chances of me being that volatile person. Right? So it's like, if there's less interaction, there's less problems. So you that's what it is for me anyways. It's like, if I don't, spend time with my wife, there's less chances of fighting. But now with fucking text messaging, we're bound to fight over a text message. But it's just safe. Isolation to me is safe. It's like, I put on my gaming headset and it's like, you know what? I can talk shit to some 16-year-old kid in Florida and make him feel like absolute fucking garbage. And he just got beat up by a 40-year-old who's been touching grass for the last, 10 years. And you're a basement dweller. I don't even know where I'm going with that, but it's like, that's my happy place. There's no repercussions. Now, I got to be clean with it because I might get my account banned, but it's just, it makes me feel good to, it's reality escape. And you know what? There's a part of me that thinks, fuck, have I become addicted to video games? It's just safe. There's no harm, but there's harm, because it's like, now I'm isolating from my wife. I'm isolating from, house responsibilities, where it's just like, I want to come home after taking the dog out, eat breakfast, go to the gym, go to work, come home, play video games. That's it. I don't want to fucking, if you tell me you got to put this pen over there, holy fucking shit, here we go. It's like, and I've created this. But at the same time, again, it's a double-edged sword. This routine that I have, this structure, has kept me where I am today, right? Like, it's structure has kept me sober for so long. Like, getting up and going to work, getting up and eating and taking care of stuff. That's what kept me sober for so long. It's that structure. It's like, work has always been there and been a structure. Now, I mean, it's obviously taken its turns and bumps and ups and downs, but it's just... Yeah, you go back to the isolation thing, and it's just safe to be alone. Like, because I know who I am. I will rip a strip off of you, no questions asked, fight dirty, throw mud, throw salt. But if I'm in isolation, I can't do that. There's limited opportunities. So that's why isolation, it's a safe place, and it's not comfortable, and it's not good to be in isolation. Like, I'm not a hermit. I'm not gonna sit there and hide under the blankets. Like, I'll go out once in a while with my wife. We went out to go see a movie last week. we went out for dinner just before that. Like, I'll do shit, but at the same time, it's like, I don't fucking want to do this. I just want to be in this fucking basement.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I get it. It's there's the balance between being a social human being. It's important, like, to anyone. I don't care who you are. We all need that sort of social aspect in our lives. Obviously, you do cultivate it in the video game aspect. If you have friends that you play with, I used to do that too. Yeah. One of the reasons I don't touch video games anymore is because I'm worried that I'll just like go all out with it. And again, not that there's anything wrong with it, because it's brought you to where you are today. It's that finding that balance is extremely difficult. I had my therapist told me one time that when I used to do therapy and could afford it, she would tell me that it's leaving a comfortable place to go to an uncomfortable environment. There's a lot of unknowns once you leave your house. Right? Yeah. And you could say, yeah, we have these plans to go and do this, this, and that. But in my head, it's like, yeah, there's so many different unknowns when I could just stay here and I know what's going to happen for the next 12
You're the narrator in your own fucking story. Yeah.
Double-edged sword, like you said.
Incredibly double-edged. Yeah.
So those early days, bring me back to those early days of getting sober. What were some things that worked for you that helped you get to 8 years?
Work, just getting up and going to work. My mom was terribly sick at the time, and I was, go to work, come home, take care of her. And that was pretty much it. I was just focusing on work. I got addicted to work. There was nothing else. There was no drugs. There was no friends. There was minimal video games at the time. And it was just I got addicted to work, and I just kept working and working. And next thing you know, I'm like, holy fuck, 6 months, holy shit, a year, and I'm just continued to work. That was it. So that's what it wasn't enjoyable. I wish I could go out and, smoke a couple joints and pound a few beers back, but you know what it's like with addicts. It's never one. One becomes 100 real fucking fast. So it's just, yeah, it was. That's what it was like. It was just I got focused in on work and
routine.
That was it. Yeah, I just tried to distract. I don't know if you consider a healthy distraction working, because again, when we're addicts, you can get addicted to fucking anything. You can get addicted to twirling your pen. Like we're so fucked up as people that we can get addicted to anything. So, yeah, that's what it was like. It was just work.
What was the alcohol part of it hard for you?
I didn't really consume much alcohol because I was always like, I always thought alcohol was just like empty calories. So I hated drinking, but when I was getting high, it used to be moonshine. My mom was giving me moonshine that she got from the church. It was like 120 proof, and I would fucking smash it. And I was just, alcohol wasn't like the big thing. It was always weed. It was always like drugs, because it was vastly, there was something about it that got me, if it made me feel comfortable in my own skin, I think that's what it boils down to. And it was, that's why now, like at home, there's alcohol all over the house. My wife has a huge wine rack, and it's like, I don't touch it. I cook with wine. I used to be left alone in my condo before we bought the house with wine, just sitting there. And I didn't look. I'm like, you know what? Just a little swig. Alcohol was never, thank goodness. I'm not be arrogant, but it was like this thing, because again, alcohol now is fucking readily available. Gas stations, grocery stores, it's everywhere. We've just created this easy, accessible problem that's going to spiral.
Yeah. Was it hard when weed was legalized for you? I always wondered that with people that had problems with, but like, if you had problems before it got legalized and then when it got legalized.
Because it was, when did it get legalized?
17, was
17? 17, yeah. So I went sober.
Because I was 2 years sober at that time.
2017, but the dispensaries and the availability didn't happen in, I think, 2018, 2019, something like that. So I had some sobriety under my belt. I had some knowledge. I had a little bit of a support system through the rooms and, family members and loved ones. But it wasn't like I'm going to go pick up. It wasn't, it wasn't like that. I don't know if it was because I had some clean time or what it was. It just, I felt like the obsession had been removed for whatever fucking reason. I hadn't even gone through the book at this time with 2 years. Like, it took me a while to finally go through the book. And I don't know. Yeah, again, I don't think I'd be here right now if weed was how readily available it is now.
Like back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's such an easy argument too for kids to say to their parents or their wives or anyone. It's like it's legal. Yeah. Right. Like how do you argue against that?
It's natural.
It's tough. And the other thing too is with the pens and stuff, and like in my relapse, I was at a point weed was never really my thing. Much like I like stimulants.
Sure.
But weed for me, it made me very paranoid, like it was very loud in my head. Yeah. And cocaine made my head quieter at first until it doesn't. But I think we were seeking the same thing, where it's that connection, and everyone's different. You know, that's why there's alcoholics and that's why there's addicts. And for me too, I had that thing with alcohol where I was like, it was there when I was using. Sometimes it wasn't, sometimes it was, but I never found myself craving a gin and whatever, or a drink. I never was like salivating over that. I have more in early sobriety. I was thinking about doing bumps. Like that was my thing. Right. And so, I think when my point with this story was when weed became legal and I was in my relapse, I was in like a fuck it. I started doing everything because I'm like, I'm already relapsed. There's no point. Yeah. And that's why I tell people all the time, like, if you can avoid picking up the first one of anything, just do it, because you don't know where you're going to go, man. I had like I said to you before, I never enjoyed weed. And there I was smoking pens and like it was way too much.
Yeah. It's not even like back then, like even edibles, if you wanted to get edibles, it was like somebody's uncle, aunt,
in their bathtub.
Yeah, they made weed cookies. And like, oh fuck, you take a weed. Now you go into these dispensaries and there's gummy bears, there's Skittles, there's drinks, there's the world's your oyster. There's weed peanut butter. It's so you don't even have to smoke it anymore to get high. It's in food form. It's wild.
So I mean, what do you sort of do? Like, I appreciate you opening up about the isolation thing, because I always ask people, and you answered it for me, is like, what are you working on today? Because when I meet people in recovery or in sobriety that say, you know, my life is really great today, and they don't talk about their unmanageabilities, I'm like, why? Like, don't lie, man. Like, this is, everyone has unmanageabilities, no matter if you're 35 years or if you're 35 days.
Right. I'm always trying to work on myself as best I can. Like, I know, like, you know, my wife and we're having like we have issues, like we fight, like, you know, I'm always trying to better myself. Like either it's physically right now or if it's mentally, I'm always trying to better myself. And it's not fucking easy. It is not easy. Like it's for me right now, it's easier to be, to physically change myself than it is mentally. If that makes any sense. So it's like you can do, physically is always easier because you can physically do something. Mentally, it's like you don't know how you can change yourself. You know, I should probably go back to a meeting and talk to people, but it's just like, I don't know. You know, it's a battle every day. I was told early on, like, get up every day out of bed and make your fucking bed. Because if you do that, then you can turn around and say, at least I accomplished that today. And I do. I make my bed I make the bed every morning. So, you know, it's just, I try to, I battle myself every day. I try to be a good person every day. And some days the fucking battle's lost. The battle's so far lost, like, and I spiral. I beat myself up. And it's like, I'm garbage. I'm like, why am I breathing right now? Like, what the fuck's wrong with me? So, yeah, there's no real one thing I'm trying to better myself on. I'm trying to be more, you know, supportive of my wife, but it's like I'm battling myself now, and she doesn't know these battles that happen. Like these battles, like I hate that, you know, that these battles are happening again, and they're not a battle that there's an end in sight. Like they'll keep happening. It could go on for 2 days. It could go on for 6 months.
It's hard to talk about that shit too, as men, especially because my brain will always tell me like, oh, there's, you know, don't talk about this. There's no solution to it anyways. No. And you don't want to sound like you're complaining too, right? Like, it's like, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. Meanwhile, I'll complain about something else. But when it comes to those sort of things, it's like, I think as men, we're supposed to be have it all figured out, or at least that's the way my brain tells me that it is. You know, you go to work, you rub some dirt on it. That's the way I was raised, and you just move on. You don't, you know, we don't really talk about mental health.
We become a society, like, it's, you know, you look at our parents, there was mental health wasn't a fucking thing back then. There was no mental health. It's like you get up and you go. You either go or you don't go, and you just, that was it. Like, I remember my dad telling me, he goes, mental health was not a thing. Like, there was no struggle. Like, you didn't admit that you had a problem. Like, you just fucking kept going.
And you followed the rules.
Yep.
And if you didn't follow the rules, there was consequences.
That was it. Yeah. And it was, you know, there's not like, hey, you know what? Something isn't right with me. No, it was, and it sucks. You know what I mean? Because as men, like, we're supposed to be like this strong warrior force where it's like nothing bothers us. But look, when we struggle hard, and people don't realize how hard it is, how much we're our own worst enemy. Just to basically sum that up, like we'll beat ourselves up no matter what. We could have won $1 million, and it's like, you know what? Why not 1,000,001? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah. One of the things that, you know, talking about childhood, one of the things, I had a good upbringing. You know, you could look at my upbringing on paper and be like, why'd you get into drugs? Like, there was no reason for it, right? So it's like everything I had, everything I wanted. We weren't, you know, rich by any means, but I had what I needed. I learned how to lie when I was younger. I don't know about your upbringing, but for me, it was like my consequences were always, it felt like they were always harsher than other people. And I'm not talking about physically or anything like that, but I would get, you know, things taken away from me. I would get consequences as a kid. My friends always seemed to be able to do more than me when we were younger. And so, like, I learned how to lie and spin a story and skirt around the truth and get out of things. And that kept on into my addiction as I was using so you create this sort of double life in your addiction where it's like, this is the high me version of me, and then this is the good stage character version of me. Yeah.
No, I was the same way. I was raised in a good house, like phenomenal house. My mother and my grandmother took amazing care of me. My parents separated when I was in grade 3. My dad was always in the picture. They divorced amicably, you know, and my dad was, every weekend I was at my dad. My parents are some of the fucking best parents on earth. Like, I can't thank them enough. And it, like, breaks my heart that I'm like, how do I thank these people for what they've done for me in all these years? You know, I'm like gonna fucking cry right now, but like, what the fuck? It's like, you know, and there's days where I treat them like shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? My mom would give you her shirt off your fucking back if you didn't have it. And here I am freaking out at her. I'm screaming at my dad because I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And this is the addict that still says, hey, you're not fucking out of this yet. You know? And my parents gave me whatever I wanted, but there was something in me when I was a child that I was just always angry. Like, I don't know if it was like I didn't have friends or what it was, but it was like, I was just always angry about everything. And then, you know, I didn't, like, I remember when I was in grade 7 or 8, like, everybody's going out to like a house party. I never got fucking invited. And I was like just crushed inside. But it was like, you know, and my grandma sees me and she goes, what's wrong with you? I'm like, oh, how do you explain this to them? Like, how do you explain it to, you know, an immigrant from Greece that barely spoke English? It's like, she goes, oh, okay, who cares? I make you food. And she here's this fucking massive plate of food. Right. And that's why I started to struggle with like weight. I was like 300 pounds in grade 9. Like, I was fucking this fat ass Greek kid that everybody called. But it was like, home was so comforting. It was just so comforting. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Yeah,
well, I mean, it leads into the possibilities of why isolation feels so good too, right?
Yeah.
It's like having a home base where nobody could attack you.
You're
really
safe, yeah.
How did you lose all that weight?
So I started with Dr. Bernstein. And I went to that, and then I was starting to get more active. I was starting to play some baseball. I ended up losing well over 100 pounds doing that. It cost my mom an absolute fortune. And I'd always battled with self-image, right? Like, it was in that time, dad bod wasn't a fucking thing back then, right? Like, now I was like,
where was that? Yeah.
I was like, where was that? I would have been Don Suave in school. I would have been macking all kinds of girls. But it was like, it wasn't a thing. It was like, who's this fucking fat ass in the lunchroom? You know what I mean? And I did that. And then my weight was always a massive issue for me growing up. Like even in college, I was always struggling for weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight. Like there was never a healthy norm. And it sucks because it's like there's that addict kicking in. It's like you're either all in or you're not. And, you know, and that's how I did it. It taught me a lot about, like, I learned a lot, like, about how to eat and, like, structure your meals and eat properly and what choices. I mean, kids say they don't know how easy they have it with AI. You just go in there and, like, here's your meal plan for the week. Here's your macros. Here's this. Here's that. Back then, it was like...
There was no nutrition labels even.
Yeah,
too.
there was, like, it's crazy where the world's gone. But, you know... And I got to the point where I was starting to hit my max again at 300 pounds. And I was like, fuck, this is crazy. Like my parents are starting to barely fit. My wife is like, oh, I love you the way you are. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I look like a fucking potato. You know, like I'm a jiggling mass of sexuality. Like I'm disgusting right now. She's like, no, I love this. This is man. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like I feel repulsive. So then, you know, and then again, I battled myself. It's you said it before about something about your first time. It always becomes easier. I remember like, oh, I'm not going to the gym. No, I'm not going back to the gym. And I said, fuck it, I'm going to go. And I went, and now it's like, it's the fucking best feeling in the world. It's like going to the gym. That's the only place I have confidence in my life right now is at the fucking gym, right? Like it's just, I'm in control here, right? I'm in control, and that's it. There's nobody else to blame. It's like you either lift the heavy ass fucking weight or you don't. You're the one that's in control here. It's like, obviously there's other shit that goes hand in hand with like nutrition and all that. And like, I'm starting to like slowly lock in on my diet right now. I'm down over 23 pounds since I fucking started. So, you know, I'm lifting incredibly heavy weights. Like I'm like a 40-year-old fucking man going to the gym, lifting this heavy ass weight. I'm not competing, you know. There's no broccoli head that I'm competing against, right? You know what I mean? Like, those memes crack me up when you see that fucking shit because it's true.
Yeah. You should go to the U.S. There's way more of them.
Wild. You get the broccoli heads, and it's just like, I can't ego lift when I'm 40 years old because you know what's going to happen. I'm going to be egoing myself back to the fucking hospital with a herniated disc. Yeah. So it's like, it's enjoyable now. You know, it's so much more enjoyable. Just that's, I mean, how I lost the weight again, Dr. Bernstein, to go back.
So, but you went back up to 300 pounds?
I got pretty fucking close. Yeah. I think my highest was just before I started back cutting weight. Was about 285, 290. So it was, but it didn't look it. Cause again, after there was a stretch where I was playing baseball pretty competitively, I started to hit the gym pretty hard. So there was that lean mass. I told somebody, I'm like, I'm 290 pounds. They're like, are you fucking kidding me? There's no way you're 300 pounds. Because when you say that weight, people just think my 600-pound life TLC falling off the back.
That's pretty true, yeah.
Right? Like,
that's kind of your first.
Yeah, that's where you go. You say, oh, this person's 300 pounds. And you look at them like, you're not fucking 300 pounds. Thank God I was at least somewhat tall. But yeah, it's, that's.
Would you say that you were ever addicted to food too? Like, was
absolutely.
That,
absolutely. And that's where weed came in. It's like, I'd get fucking blasted to the moon, and I'd drive high to Walmart, and I'd get a fucking, they were selling Krispy Kreme donuts at the time. And I'd sit in my truck eating 24 donuts. And then I'd go across the street to No Frills, and I'd get fucking a couple nice steaks. And I must have eaten like 3,000 calories when I was high every single day. Yeah. It was just wild.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because I've met a lot of people that have had weed addictions that find that it eventually flips on them, and they eat less when they're high.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I was the same when I was like at that point in my addiction where I wasn't getting high anymore. Like there was no like, whoa, everything's funny. Like it was all the same. And I basically wouldn't eat. I'd go 12 hours at work, physical labor, not eating. These guys are like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Right? Like, this guy's a junkie. They thought I was shooting up and coming to work, like jonesing out on meth, and I didn't eat. And then when I go home, I get high and fucking open the fridge and I clear it out. And then food was always safe. I was raised like that through my grandmother, that food was always safe. No matter where you were in life, if you had food, you were good. And that was it. It was just, food was always, it's very comforting. You can get addicted to food. Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. There's Overeaters Anonymous now, right? Like it's.
Yeah. There's lots of programs for that, and that also follow 12 steps too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What were some of the other, I guess, consequences of your weed addiction? Like, were you getting into that schizophrenic, or did you ever get into the throwing up thing? I forget the name of it.
Bulimia?
No, there's that new consequence of abusing marijuana.
Greening out?
But it's like, you're constantly throwing up. Did you ever have any, what were some of your consequences?
Anger. I used to be.
As after you would smoke weed, or would it calm you down?
It was like in that period where I had gotten high, but then I was kind of like in the middle before I needed to get high again to like keep that wave going. I had horrendous issues with the law, like horrendous, to the point where it was like I was working at the time. They came up behind me and they handcuffed me because I had uttered death threats to my ex-girlfriend at the time. Like, here I am sitting in the call center and the fucking 3 cops the size of, the Eiffel Tower grab me, manhandle me, and throw me in the back of a cruiser.
They showed up to your work.
Yeah. And I was like, how the fuck? Like, somehow they found out where I was. Yeah, I had anger was always the thing. It was always there when I was either not getting high or getting high, angry all the time.
And did you have to like follow up those consequences when you got sober, or was it kind of?
No, I was still actively using, but I still had to face them.
Yeah, like they came back because they go on for a while, right?
Yeah, it was like a year and a half, 2 years. I remember being under horrible house arrest. Like, they wouldn't even let me leave for work. It was fucking awful. But yeah, I was still getting high at the time. It was, drugs were always there, no matter what. Drugs were always available. It was like food. It was always there. Somehow I was able to get weed.
What do you, let's end with this. What do you say to the person that says, oh, I'm just smoking weed? It's not that big of a deal, but they might have a problem, or.
That is a good one. I don't even know how to answer that. I mean, if you can stop with just one, then good for you. I'll fucking shake your hand. I'll buy you a steak dinner, because that's not for me. But people that are starting to have that issue where they need it to get through the day, I want to say enjoy it, but that sounds pretty sadistic. But it's just, it stopped being fun a long time ago. I don't know how to answer it. Like, it's a really tough thing what to say to them. Like, it's just, I don't want to be negative and say, you know what, eventually your fun's going to run out. Like, it's you're using it as a coping mechanism. Like, you're going to hit that where you're not fucking high anymore. It's like you can't.
Stops working.
Yeah, it stops working. It stops being fun. Like, it's not social anymore. It's not, Yeah.
And like alcohol, you'll see people go on for a majority of their lives not doing anything about it, because hitting that bottom might not be as
it's an immeasurable thing.
Yeah.
You can't say to someone, hey, this is your rock bottom right here.
Yeah.
Some people will fall down that cliff. It's like the Grand Canyon. They'll just keep falling and falling. They might stop, but then they'll fall again. Like, there's no, when people say, how do you know that was it? It's like, you can't measure it. It's just, there's some sort of divine intervention maybe, that it's like, this is it. This is your end. Like, if you continue, you will die. That's how it was to me. There was no signs. It was just like, again, it goes back to my apartment where I've passed out in half the toilet. Like, if I would have fell, I wouldn't be here right now. Crazy as it sounds, drowning in the toilet. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be here.
That's what it took, though.
That's right? What it took.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's the rock bottom thing you don't. I think everybody has to hit a point, and you said it perfectly. It's subjective. It's different for everybody. Only you know when it's enough. I talk to parents all the time at my job that, yeah, he's at rock bottom. I'm like, no, he's not. Because if he was at rock bottom, he would be on his way to treatment. He would be saying yes to this treatment center.
He would have come on himself. Yeah. That's
what happened to me. The third time around, my moment was in a hotel lobby where I was watching people go to work, and I had no money. I had no hope. And I think divine intervention is a good way to look at it, because I don't want to say there was a voice that came in my head or I heard but there was just a narrative going on that was like, dude, that's enough. Like, it's enough. The gig is up, like you said, and you used to be happy like that guy. You used to be, you know what I mean? It's like, but it's different for everybody. Thanks so much for coming down, Alex.
No, thanks for having me. Like I said, after 8 years, I've never really spilt the beans, so it's nice to finally do it. Hopefully, you know, I touched somebody. I don't know if that's the appropriate word, but you know, yeah, you get it. You get it. So, yeah.
Perfect.